a lot of MAGAs are furious right now, and they should be. They should be. There was a lot of points in these last 6 months of the administration where you could have had enough. You could have been, at your wit's end. That's it. The AI deal he did with Ellison, the mRNA AI $500 billion deal he did on like day one. That could have been it for you. It could have been clamping down on free speech, not being about free speech. When he starts punishing and locking up people who are protesting against genocide, that could have been it for you. Followed by the Trump Gaza announcement. We're going to rebuild over the dead women and children and their bones underneath Trump Plaza in Gaza. That could have been it for you. Maybe Maha not getting anything done that they promised, getting mRNA out of the vaccine schedule, not happening. That could have been it for you. Who knows? Could it have been the Epstein files? Well, it seems that it might be. Not just because like the 9/11 files and the JFK files, which we're not really getting anything on that either. This one is a little different, and I'll explain. The Epstein files let us know that it's not just about these past events, and not to give less credit to or credence to JFK and 9/11, but there's something to be said about the whole let's move on thing. It's a little more effective when it's something from 1963 or even from 2001. Hard to do that in real time right now when we have victims and we have promises made about getting justice for these victims, and then understanding that this goes well beyond, figuring out whether Jeffrey Epstein killed himself, or well beyond even the list themselves, because we actually have the list. That's it. So I'll get to that, guys, in a second. We have the list. But how many people that it incriminates, and then therefore bring down the house of cards, which is what Trump ran on. So he's not anti-war. He's not for a medical freedom movement. He's not against censorship. He's all these things. He's the opposite of the thing he campaigned on. And here we go. He's protecting child sex trafficking. That's what he's protecting. But on who? On behest of who? So let's get to the bottom of this. So this is the story. We'll just catch you up. You guys know this already, but the Justice Department review finds Jeffrey Epstein had no client list and died by suicide. So they doubled down on the idea that we can just dismiss this entire thing, even after telling you, we told you guys that the list was coming. Now, it kind of worked for JFK and 9/11. So maybe they thought it would work with this one too. I that's the only thing I can think of, that they might have just thought, well, they believed the last pile of crap, so we can just do that thing again. You know, that thing where we tell you it's coming, and then we tell you we looked at it and it's not, there's nothing really there. Although they did a little better job with the JFK, because they gave us something with the redacted, the Israel redacted stuff. So that was at least some sort of effort. Well, let's review this moment, because I was on with Fiorella yesterday on Truthwire, and I said then, and I'm going to say this again, out of all the stuff we're seeing on this, I think this footage, this is the biggest moment. I think the biggest shock moment for MAGAs was this. So let's play this if you guys haven't seen this yet. It's Trump and Pam Bondi. A rehearsed moment that they thought would work completely backfires. And I think that this moment will be the moment referred to for years and years as the moment that MAGA destroyed itself, or Trump destroyed it, or whatever, or the curtain was pulled back. This is the moment where the curtain was pulled back on MAGA. And once you pull back a curtain, you can't unsee what you see. So here it is.
Released yesterday on Jeffrey Epstein. It left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former labor secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the staff?
Yeah, sure. If
Could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. Yeah. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable.
So what his attempt here, and this was rehearsed. I'm going to interrupt you, Pam, because I'm going to put a cushion there for you so you don't have to have all the pressure on you. I want to say this is ridiculous. Why does everyone care about justice for what this guy did or didn't do with child porn? Who cares about him? Completely deflecting and gaslighting any other concern for justice for anybody else other than this guy, and then just reducing him to this bad apple pervert who already is dead. Good riddance. Why would anyone care otherwise? He knows exactly what he's doing. But again, this was a rehearsed moment. Let's see what else he comes up with.
Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas.
Your greatest success bullshit is not going to work much longer, Trump. It's not. It's worked a long time. He's really good at that. It's the greatest, the best. This is where you've run the course on that. It's not actually working here. That you're saying there's other things that we'd rather talk about than the thing that would actually connect all the dots on everything. Everything is Epstein, actually. Everything is Epstein. It's all Epstein. That opens, and by the way, that opens the door, as you guys will know. You guys probably know this. If you don't, we'll get to it in a minute. It opens the doors wide open on everything, on 9/11, on JFK. Everything is Epstein right now. And I think Trump and his team has underestimated that belief in his base, and anybody watching from a distance who knows everything is Epstein. And if you deflect this moment, you are pulling the curtain back and letting us know that you're all in on it together.
It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said, I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that.
You do have knowledge about that, and we'll get to that in a second, of course. And we're going to get back to you. You're not getting back to us. This was the moment. Everything was supposed to be together. This is what Dan Bongino talked about. This is what Kash Patel talked about. We're fixing up the footage. Oh, we're going to talk about the footage in a second, because that's what all the time. Remember all the time? It's on my desk. She absolutely said that the files were on her desk. Absolutely said it. We don't have to even replay that one again. You guys know she said it. She knows she said it. So we're going to get back to you on the agent. What else are you going to get back to us on, Pam? What else did you guys forget to do as you were taking your sweet time editing footage and preparing all the non-files and all the non-lists, all the stuff that was not apparently on your or not on your desk that took all these weeks? What else did you forget to look into that you'll get back to us on?
And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
Ha. So yeah, I wonder what that looked like, right? I wonder what that meeting looked like when we learned in the prison, there's a minute that it gets missing on every time there's a counter, and we said, the public might have a problem with that, but should we go and figure that out? Nah, let's just release it. They'll totally forgive us for that part, because everybody knows that a minute goes missing every night, and that's just a thing. And we don't need to actually look into it now. We'll do that later. Also, the whole thing about him, his attachment as an agent to a country in the Middle East. We don't know which one. Not our greatest ally. Can't be that one. We'll get to all that later. We don't really have time right now. While we're stalling for time, we don't have any time. Is basically what came from that. Well, luckily, we found the missing minute. Here it is. Thanks, Green Frogs Lab, for that one. That was fun. We need a little comic relief sometimes in these situations. But yeah, there's that missing minute, and of course we have to laugh at this because it's a joke at this point. It's a freaking joke. And there we go. Men in Black. Is this Men in Black 5? Maybe 4? There is no client list. Thanks for setting us straight there, Men in Black. Thank you. And that would be, I guess, Pam Bondi is the new letter, whatever the letter they give her, probably F or whatever. Yeah, that's it. There you go, guys. There is no list. There is no list. Well, in all seriousness, let's remind everybody who's actually suffering from this. This isn't a red versus blue. Even this is not really a MAGA's got their feelings hurt. Oops, I got duped. Who's really suffering here? Well, it's the actual victims. You guys remember there's actual victims of Epstein? Here's one of them speaking back when Maxwell was getting her sentence. Because remember, she's serving a sentence for now a list that doesn't exist. So her crime doesn't exist either, which is weird, right? That she'd be sitting in jail right now for a non-existent crime because there is no list. But there are actual victims that actually have pain, and they have stories that are their stories. So this is why we're still talking about this, Trump. But you knew that. You know that.
I have spent the last 17 years in my own prison for what she, Jeffrey, and all the co-conspirators did to me. I was raped repeatedly. I was raped 3 times a day sometimes. And I was not the only girl on that island. There was a constant stream of girls being raped over and over and over again. And yes, Ghislaine must die in prison because I've been in hell and back for the last 17 years.
And 27 for me.
I was 10 years old when Liz Stein was being trafficked. I was 10. That is how long the sex trafficking ring has been going on.
I mean, this is disgusting. And like, look, I know you guys are probably wondering, or if you haven't paid it, I mean, maybe you haven't been paying attention what's going on CNN or MSNBC right now. Obviously Fox, and I mean, I'm gonna assume that Fox is trying to do some damage control for Trump on this, but you guys know what they're doing on the other outlets right now is they're attempting to make this about Trump protecting himself. And this is a problem right now, even though we're seeing them say there is a problem that the list isn't out. That's great. That's a great thing to say. If you're on CNN, Jake Tapper was saying that the other day. Oh, we should be concerned. We should be concerned that the list isn't out. Well, you guys were saying that it's all BS a year ago. You guys didn't want to have anything to do with any Epstein at all because you knew about Clintons and you knew about you knew. So you didn't want even to talk about, again, when you don't want to talk about something, you call people conspiracy theorists who want to bring it up. So that's changed. Obviously, at this point, the repositioning in mainstream is to say Trump is uniquely the one that is protecting himself. And I'm not saying there isn't anything for Trump not to protect, because he certainly is involved with Epstein. 100%. We know he's 100% involved. But that's going to be the limitation of their ability to report this accurately. And we saw it exemplified no better than Jamie Raskin going on MSNBC with Chris Hayes, telling us exactly why this list is not coming out, because they want their audience to believe that Emperor Trump is the problem. No kings, remember? No kings? Well, here's how you spin this story to be about evil, bad, old Emperor Trump making the call himself to protect himself.
Right. Well, look, they've been promoting some like wild conspiracy theories about what's on there. We don't know what's true and what's not true. And if there's nothing to implicate Donald Trump, then release the files. What's the problem with releasing them? That's what they've been demanding. And in this.
Yeah. So there it is. It's implication of Trump. And we're seeing it going around on all the liberal circles right now, that's the thing they're doubling down on. Trump is uniquely doing this. It's a really bad take. Here's another one from one of these shit libs, middle-aged riot. Face it, MAGA. If your president's name weren't all over the Epstein files, they would have been released, unredacted, printed, and bound in $500 special edition, signed by Trump, recorded as an audiobook by James Woods and Mel Gibson, and tattooed on Lauren Boebert's ass. Great soliloquy, but just completely off track there, middle-aged riot. I know you probably had fun putting that out to your followers, but that's not the story. We know that's not the story. There's something more nefarious going on here. And actually, to our, I would say, liking, it's nice to see MAGAs themselves getting angry at this for the right reasons. Here's one just being enraged. And there's a lot of these going on. And I think it's good. Here's one being enraged. This is Patriotic Blonde says, fuck you, Cash, fuck you, Bongino, fuck you, FBI, fuck you, Pine Bondi. You fuck each other, every one of you, brought and paid for off scum who are protecting Epstein's clients. Each and every one of you have the blood of innocent children on your hands. Good for you, Patriotic Blonde, for calling out all of them, because at this point, it's not about politics. So this is not about red and blue and MAGA versus Kamala Biden bullshit. We know it's not. So yes, you're angry, you're mad as hell, you're not going to take it anymore. We're seeing a lot of MAGAs like this moving away from the Trump can do no wrong mindset, which is, I guess, is the opposite of Trump derangement syndrome, whatever that's called, where you the hero worship. They're done with it because they know that they're all in on it together, which is actually a way more accurate take than watching Chris Hayes right now. Just seeing that little F you, I'm out. It's a lot more accurate. But let's see a little more descriptive reaction from another MAGA. This is Natalie Winters going on Piers Morgan. And I did like this kind of breakdown. This kind of leads us closer to what's actually happening right now.
Past debacle territory, but just outright grift. And that's probably not something that you would expect me to say, but this is just absolutely reprehensible. I think if you look at what really the MAGA base, the people who elected President Trump, what their sort of concerns have been these past few months is that the administration is not moving fast enough, right? They're not content with the press releases and the tweets. They want to see prison sentences and actual accountability for people that they believe committed crimes. Now, we've hit the point where we're not even getting the press releases or the strongly worded letters. We're getting weird, undated, unnamed memos being released over holiday weekends to legacy media outlets trying to bury it in Axios instead of working with all the new media outlets that the White House, pumped and talked so openly and heavily about being in and around the White House. I mean, this is a bedrock issue. I know, I agree, it's nonpartisan, it's non-political to want to get justice for the victims, but I also think that this is something that is both hyper-partisan and hyper-political, because what Jeffrey Epstein was doing, whether it's a foreign intel operation or domestic aside or joint operation has direct ramifications, and probably the policies that we've seen being rolled out, whether through blackmail indirectly or directly through a lot of the political leaders in this nation. I would just say, as someone who has been on shows, co-hosted with a lot of the people, the clips that we've played of people who have called out Jeffrey Epstein for years and made millions of dollars off of it, it is absolutely reprehensible, and it is a complete grift. And you have now, in their words, probably become the deep state. If you're going to run cover for this and you think that the MAGA audience is dumb enough to not, I don't know, be able to go back 2 months and see the comments you were making on Fox News, we need to get this right. I don't even know if I have faith in Pam Bondi anymore, but this is a really, really concerning moment for MAGA.
Yeah, I mean, Destiny.
So very, very, very good of her calling this out. I just have to push back a little at the end where she's talking about becoming the deep state, and she's talking to about Pam Bondi. No, she was the whole time. She was the deep state the whole time. She didn't become it. You just realized that she was. And then the end with, I don't know if I have faith in her. You shouldn't have any faith in her. We didn't the whole time. We're not going to say we told you so, but it's good that you're going on, camera and telling people this. It's very good. I think it's very, very good that she's doing this. And many, many others too. Here's one more MAGA out tweet. I think these are important. We shared some on Tuesday's show as well. So this is not just, we're not just cherry picking one or two. This is everywhere. So this is very, very good. Here's a more eloquent one I saw earlier today. I thought this is very, very well said. This is Bruce Fenton. He says, I supported him. I get it. It's hard to admit you were rugged. Hard to admit that after all the hard fought battles of the last 5 years, that he's just the same as everyone else. We gave so much because we cared about our nation. Many of us gave money. Many of us risked freedom to support him because we love America. Some made the mistake of making him bigger than the movement. Now, the rug pulls all his base and destroys the coalition he built. I was worried about his trash record on COVID tyranny, as a lot of people were, rightfully so, and liberty, but I viewed Kamala as an existential threat to the U.S. I hated that the media and Dems lied so often and pushed division. We didn't have another viable choice. Some loved him, some chose the lesser of two evils. So he's admitting that was lesser two evils, which they were absolutely guilty of doing. And I love that he's saying it out loud. This is great. This is great. It's possible for multiple things to be true at once. Yes. Yes, the J6 prosecutions and narratives were a sham. Yes, the election was probably stolen. And yes, Biden was an incompetent puppet and the media covered and lied for him continually. Yes, Biden's handlers worked with the FBI and woke Silicon Valley executives to censor true information from the American people. All of that is true. And it's great. He reminds people all of that can be true. But also, if you go along with this bullshit, you are every bit as dumb of a cult of personality follower as the whole woke left has said all along. There is right and there is wrong. Clearly, the man who pushed Operation Warp Speed and promised to end the Ukraine war on day one has not changed for the better since last term. He revealed himself to be completely co-opted and compromised. He has shown his base inside the bus. He lied. We didn't vote for America Second. We didn't vote to be vassals to Netanyahu. We didn't vote for big government expansion, for neocon war hawk policies, or for covering for the deep state and Epstein or a foreign blackmail scheme. F this. We have a country to save. If Donald Trump wants to burn his legacy, to line his pockets and align with the enemies of truth and our against values, then he can go it without us. I'm out. MAGA is dead. You can still make America first and support what is right. Follow your moral code. Exactly true. 100% follow your moral code. So I'm going to go further. And I think MAGAs who feel like he does need to hear this part, because I think we can lessen the blow on Trump intentionally doing this because he's just that horrible of a person who did this to you. We might be able to lessen the blow for you a little bit if we fully try to understand who is really calling the shots. And what I'm going to give, we haven't had Saagar on any clip from him in a long time on this show. I kind of stopped paying attention to him, and obviously him and Crystal, that's a horrible show they do, Breaking Points, filled with Trump derangement syndrome and COVIDian nonsense. But Saagar goes on Tucker, and I just loved this. This is as simple as you can get about what's really going on, and maybe this will give you some sort of consolation if you're a MAGA who's feels their heart ripped out by Trump. Maybe it wasn't necessarily Trump who ripped out your heart. It's something much larger. Here we go.
I, at this point, is not even part of trying to convince any of this is true.
Yes.
The lie is a signal to everybody else involved in the scheme that to the ultimate ends, the United States government will go to protect all of you.
Yes.
And that's the for
Man,
what
is that smart.
purpose?
Can you say that again? Okay,
Yes.
so I'm sorry, it's a signal.
The lie is not for you and me. The lie is for those implicated to say, no matter what, we will protect you. And then we have to start asking the question, why? As in, what is the purpose of this entire thing?
Wow. He got Tucker on that one. That's a good one. What he's saying is they're not as stupid as we might think. We talk about that moment, and I think that's a historic moment. We're going to look back on it. That's the moment it fell apart. But maybe Saagar's onto something here. Maybe it wasn't just bad planning. Maybe the whole point was to show the people who are really in charge, show them we can do whatever we need to do, even if we shoot ourselves in the foot. We will demonstrate. These are what we talk in Hollywood about, these rituals that you must do. We've seen the rituals where you bow down to your leaders, the people who you signed on the dotted line, you signed your soul away. So you have to signal to your handlers, do little signals, little humiliation rituals, perhaps a humiliation ritual here, Trump, Bondi, Cash, Bongino, Levitt. Humiliation ritual. Because are they that stupid? They know what we know. They know about the MOSSAD connections. You saw Pam Bondi earlier deflect that and say, oh, I don't know about that, but we'll have to get back to you on that. Why don't we look a little deeper at this part? Because we don't talk too much about this, but I'm glad Saagar alluded to it. Who's really making the calls? We know this about Epstein already. We have the information. We have the intel about the Mossad. How do we know this? Well, because a former Mossad agent has told us the connection. Here's a report about that connection, just to be absolutely clear of who's actually calling the shots right now.
Jeffrey Epstein scandal. Now, as part of our investigation, we spoke to Ari Ben-Mashani, who is a former Israeli spy. He said on the record unequivocally that Jeffrey Epstein was working for Israeli intelligence operations, the Mossad, and running a classic honey trap operation. That is, lure people inside, record their activities, and learn about their peccadillos and use it to blackmail them. This is a former spy on the record in the new book, Epstein, Dead Men Tell No Tales. Interestingly, this person was also the handler of Jeffrey Epstein's best friend and ex-girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell. She was said to have been one of the women who helped procure the underage girls for Epstein. She has denied that. But her father was Robert Maxwell, a media and press baron who owned the Mirror News Group in England and also the New York Daily News. He was a former Mossad agent. And according to my source, Ari Ben-Mashari, the business that Robert Maxwell had was turned over to Jeffrey Epstein almost in a switch before Robert Maxwell died in mysterious circumstances off the back of a boat in 1991.
Well, this is mind-boggling stuff.
Mind-boggling to say the least. But again, we already knew about this. So is this a humiliation ritual for, Pam Bondi just to say, hey, I don't know about that. I'll look into it. We don't know. We don't have information. We don't have access to any of this. We don't know about the victims. We don't know why Maxwell is in prison. None of it is making sense. Could this just be a ritualistic activity to demonstrate, to bow down to the people actually running things and let them know that they're willing to actually compromise their own image and their own relationships with their own base, that they're willing to do that? That's how loyal they are to these people. Because again, we have all this. This isn't some, oh my God, we just found this today. I mean, we queued it up for you guys, but this is out there. All this stuff is there. This isn't some going down a rabbit hole or it was secretly shared and we got it all this morning. Again, we lined it up so you guys, we could share it with you, but it's there, it's here. So again, back to this moment, this break off moment, MAGA break off moment. Trump and the team, Trump and the gang they're not so dumb to not know that this was coming. So I think right now I'm going to be in the camp. We're going to stay in the camp right now until proven otherwise, or if more information is revealed. We're kind of going to be in the camp that this was some ritualistic humiliation ritual moment that they had to do to demonstrate who's really in charge.